Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to another reading vlog. I haven't filmed one of these in a really long time. I also haven't really read in a long time. I mean, I have been reading, but just not as much as I've wanted to because I've been working and I've been moving in. If you saw my last video, you know I just moved into a new apartment and I just set up my bookshelf. But anyway, in today's video, I'm going to be filming a what I realistically read in a week while working and everything else. A few times. I don't think it's really been the most realistic, but I will link them down below if you're curious or want to watch them. But I'm really excited to film it this week because I'm still trying to get the perfect ratio of reading and working and life in general. So I'm excited to take you guys along with me. Today is Sunday. We're starting on Sunday. We're gonna go to next Sunday. It's already 4:30 p.m. though, so I haven't read too much today yet, and I do have a concert tonight and my friend's coming over in like 30 minutes to go to the concert with me, so there won't be a lot of reading tonight, but I did read a little bit this morning while I was on the treadmill. I'm currently in the middle of reading Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. You guys know about this book. I feel like people are obsessed with it. Every time I look up like the best books or life-changing books, everyone says Boys of Tommen series. I don't know if it's up my alley. I don't love romance books very much, but people say it's life-changing, so I did pick it up because I kind of want to understand what the hype is about. I did kind of set a goal for myself this year though to not read books just because they're trending or hyped up, and more so read them because I feel like I'll like them, because sometimes I find myself reading books that other people love and they're just not for me, and that's okay. But I want to read a lot of books that are for me this year and get 5 stars and 4.5 stars and just love reading and everything I read this year. So this kind of goes against that, to be completely honest. I don't know if I'm gonna love this. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this. I don't even know if this is what I'm gonna read this week, but I have started this and I'm currently 8% through it. I didn't read much today. I think I only read a chapter, but this next chapter is 44 minutes long, so this is a long book and clearly the chapters are long too, and I don't know how to feel about that. But it's about Shannon and Johnny, and Shannon is used to getting bullied by other peers at her school, so she moved to a new school where she runs into Johnny, who's 2 years older than her, like a very famous rugby player, and then I'm assuming they kind of fall in love. They're already kind of interested in each other very clearly, and I'm only at the beginning of the book, but I think it is a lot more than that. I think it's kind of like a found family friendship dynamic book and then also family relationship book, so I'm curious to see how it goes from there. I know people say it's more than romance and it can be kind of emotional and dramatic. I am curious about that, and I'm curious to see if I'll like it. I don't know, but I will be keeping you guys updated if this is what I end up reading. I do have one other book on my radar, and that's the new Hunger Games book because that just recently came out, and I'm always curious about those books because I do love the Hunger Games. Those are the books on my radar, and that's kind of the plan for this week. I'll take you guys from this Sunday to next Sunday. We'll see how much I realistically read. We're gonna start with Boys of Tommen, Binding 13. I don't know how far I'll get in it, but that's the plan. So my friend is coming over in like 30 minutes to go to the concert with me tonight, so I have a little bit of time to read right now. I'll take you guys with me as I read a little bit before she comes over and we leave. Probably won't be reading much more than that today, so then I'll end up seeing you whenever I see you. now it's Monday, 1 p.m. I haven't read anything yet today, but I'm about to get ready to go to the gym and I'm going to read a little bit on the treadmill. But I did just want to check in because I read a little bit last night. Nothing after the concert. I just went right to bed. But before the concert, I read a little bit and I officially read 43 pages yesterday. So I'm currently on page 80. I'm still on chapter 5 and hopefully I'm going to read a little bit more today. I want to read like kind of 100 pages, but I don't know if I'll get there. So that's my goal for today. My thoughts on the book are pretty much the same. Nothing really has changed. It's just about Johnny and Shannon right now. It's kind of moving fast in terms of their relationship and how much they already seem to care about each other, even though they just met each other. But it still is entertaining. Like, I'm not thinking about DNFing it just yet. But I'm only 9% through the entire book. The actual book, I'm reading it on my Kindle, but the actual book is like 600 something pages. And on my Kindle, it's 913 pages. This is very long. Like, I'm not even 100 pages into it. I'm gonna keep reading it. I'm gonna give it a chance. I want to understand the hype and I will update you guys. I'm gonna go to the gym now. Also, I did go to the concert last night. I saw Role Model. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it was so much fun. Okay, so I just read for a little bit and I have a few updates that I wanted to share before I forgot about them, but I'm not too far in the book. I'm only 13% through and on page 114, so I really haven't read too much today, but I do still want to try and read 100 pages, so I'm still going to try to do that. I don't know if I will, but it's still my goal. But I just had a few thoughts while I was reading it, and the chapters are so long. This last chapter was 40 minutes long. I don't know how I feel about that because I kind of prefer short chapters. It's also dual POV, so I'm getting a little bit of Johnny and a little bit of Shannon. I will say this last Johnny chapter was a little bit cringe. I definitely expected moments like that in this book, but it was like pretty cringy. But you know, if I push that aside, I'm actually really enjoying the book because it's super easy to read and get through. But I also am only 13% in, so I don't want to judge it too prematurely. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm definitely going to keep reading today and I'll keep you guys updated with any thoughts I have. I will talk to you guys later. For a little bit, we went grocery shopping and now my boyfriend is making tacos for dinner. But I do have a few updates. The first one being I actually did read 100 pages today, so it's currently 6:30 and so far I've read 105 pages. I've read from page 111 to 216 and this is on my Kindle, so I don't know the exact pages in the book, but I'm on chapter 14 and I'm 24% through the book. So this book is long, but I do have a few thoughts. Like, first off, I really do like the characters. There are a few that I don't love. Like, I don't love Lizzie, the best friend, but I do really like Claire and Gibbsy, the other best friends. I think they're really fun. And obviously like Shannon and Johnny, and I'm excited to like see what happens between them. I think it's really fun. It's kind of like high school drama and gossip and you're just living it with them, but it's kind of like going back in time as if like this is high school drama that I'm experiencing. I do think Shannon's chapters are maybe my favorite. They also tend to be shorter, unfortunately, but so far I'm enjoying it. It's very long. I don't really know what they're gonna do with the rest of this book, but I'm excited to keep going and see how far I can get and see if I end up finishing this book this week. I don't know if that's even possible with how long it is, but I'm gonna try my best. That's kind of the update for right now, so I'm just gonna keep reading a little bit while my boyfriend cooks and my kitty is hanging out with me. more icon glasses. I think they're so cute. Wednesday and it's currently 2:20 p.m. I went to work, I came home, I did a super quick yoga and have just been kind of editing my video ever since. So I haven't read much today. I read nothing else last night. Yesterday I did read a total of 105 pages. So I got over my 100 goal, which was really awesome. Today I read a little bit like on the way to and from work, and so I've officially read 21 pages, so not too much, but I'm getting somewhere. I'm currently on chapter 16 of the book, and I will say I'm still enjoying it, but it is feeling a little bit repetitive in the way that they're kind of repeating the same kind of thoughts and the same scenes. I do think part of it is good for character development because I do feel like we're getting to know these characters really well, but some of it does feel a little bit unnecessary, and with how long this book is, I do feel like some scenes could be cut out, showing a lot of the mundane parts of their life that I feel like we don't necessarily need to see in order for any development to the story. And one thing, for example, which I wouldn't consider a very big spoiler, but if you're anti-knowing really anything about the book, I'll put the time up that you can skip to. But one thing that I notice all the time is that Shannon has a difficulty leaving the house because of her dynamic with her family, specifically her dad. And so a lot of the development of relationships is pretty limited to just the school area, and she can't really do anything with them outside of school. I understand that's realistic to her character, but it feels kind of limiting for how much you can build and move forward with the relationships. So a lot of the conversations feel kind of repetitive in the same setting and the same kind of vibe because their relationship is a little bit stagnant right now. So that's just one thing that I noticed while reading it. It doesn't make it a bad book, it's just something that's kind of like sticking out to me. I also think it's just funny. This is like the most commonly played out trope ever of the shy, unassuming girl getting with like the most popular guy in school. That's just how I feel right now. I do plan on reading more today. I want to edit a little bit and then I'm probably just going to hang out and read. I would love to be able to read 100 pages again today. I don't know if I will, but that would be really fun. Hopefully I can do that. That's my goal. I'm 20 something pages towards that goal. I am enjoying it, so I'm kind of excited to go back in the world and see what happens. If you enjoy the trope of like the guy protecting the girl, that's very much this book, and I'm at a scene in the book where he's doing that, and I'm excited to read his chapter so that I can get his thoughts on the situation. And for context, the chapter is titled Keep Your Hands Off. That's what I'm gonna do right now. I also have a fun coffee. My boyfriend made me a coffee, and it is like a brown sugar maple vanilla coffee, and it's really good. So that's my plan for right now, and I will keep you guys updated probably later tonight, but if I don't, I'll definitely talk to you guys tomorrow with my update and how much I end up reading for Wednesday. I will see you later. At 4:14 p.m. I read a lot more last night actually, and I didn't update at all. Yesterday I officially read 90 pages, so just under 100, and I ended at page 306. And in all honesty, I'm a little bit bored right now. I do feel, and I think I mentioned this in my last update, I do feel that it's a little bit repetitive and like not really moving much. Don't get me wrong, like I really do love a slow moving book. Like I have had some of my favorite books be a little bit more slow moving and more mundane, like just showing people's lives, like Bear Town, Where the Crawdad Sings, Normal People. Like those are all 5 stars for me, and they are slower and they just show people's lives. And I haven't even finished the whole book, but I do just feel like from where I'm at right now, if they would have just cut it in half, I would have gotten the same point, and they would have been able to portray everything and the characters perfectly. My friend has read it and she let me know she didn't really get into the book until 70% through it, which like this book is so long. Like 70% through it is so long. So that's where I'm at with this book. I almost was like considering DNFing and reading something else, but I think I'm gonna keep going just because I want to understand why people love it so much. And if it's not for me, it's not for me. Like I just won't read the rest of the series. I don't want to DNF the book, but I also, one of my goals is to be okay with DNFing books and moving on to something that I actually feel like I will enjoy. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the book right now. Friday, it's my day off, so I ended up going to dinner with my dad and my boyfriend. Then we went to Barnes & Noble after, and I actually ended up getting 2 books, so I wanted to show you. You probably already saw them on the clip. I was debating between a ton of books, but I'm very particular about the quality of the book that I purchase, even though sometimes I'll ruin it on my own, just on my bookshelves or videos, or the way I like just read the book. So I had a few books that I wanted to get, like the something. I guess I don't even know the name. The Unbreaking of Adrienne Young or something. Also Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. Those were 2 books I was considering, but they just didn't have the best quality. So I ended up getting The Ministry of Time, which I'm so excited about this book. I've been wanting to read it forever. It's by Kayleen Bradley, and I was waiting for the paperback because I don't like hardcovers. I didn't even know it was out in paperback until I saw it in the store, and I'm so excited to read it. Everyone who's read this has really loved it. It's like a science fiction-y book. Honestly, when I read the back of it, I couldn't tell you what it's about, but Emily Henry really loves this book, and I love Emily Henry. So speaking of Emily Henry, I also picked up Funny Story by her, which it's now out on paperback, and that's why I got it. I already read this book. I do really want to reread it, so I'm happy to actually own it so I can read it physically this next time. But I just love Emily Henry, and I'm trying to own all of her books, and I think there's only one more that I need. I can't remember which one it is. It might be Book Lovers. I think I need Book Lovers because I'm pretty sure I have Happy Place, Beach Read, and People We Meet on Vacation, now this one. So the last one I need is Book Lovers, and then obviously Great Big Beautiful Life when that comes out next month. I'm very excited to own this book. So those are the 2 books that I ended up getting. Thank you, Dad, because I know you're watching. And then I went home, and I don't think I read much more before just going to bed. But this morning I did some Pilates outside. It's so nice out today. It's like 70 something degrees. Then my boyfriend made me a breakfast sandwich, which you saw, and then we walked to get a coffee. And honestly, it's not that good. I prefer the ones that we make at home, but it'll do. We also got a pink sprinkle donut because they're my favorite kind of donut. I haven't taken a bite yet because we did just eat breakfast, so I'm not super hungry for it, but I love that I have it. I did end up reading a little bit yesterday, not too much. I read 51 pages of the book, and I ended at chapter 24, and now I'm at chapter 29, so I've read 30 something pages today so far. My feelings are pretty much the same about just how it's very slow moving. They actually progressed a little bit because Shannon was actually able to do things. Other than that, like, it does feel kind of like they're just reiterating the same things going on with these people. I feel like I understand that about them, and I'm ready to delve deeper and learn a little bit more about the characters and maybe just progress them a little bit more. So I'm still kind of bored, and to be honest, I'm really wanting to read the Hunger Games book because everyone seems to be reading it right now and giving it 5 stars. I love Hunger Games, and I just think it would be fun to read it. But I am gonna push through and try to get a little bit further because my friend did say, and I think I mentioned this, she said that 70% through, she really liked it. So I feel like I have to wait until I'm 70% through. But that does feel kind of crazy in a 600 something page book. So I was super excited to read this. I'm a little bit bummed and but I honestly went into it knowing that it wouldn't necessarily be for me. So I'm not too shocked either. And yeah, that's kind of everything that I've done so far today. I do want to go to Barnes & Noble today, but I think I'm going to film that for a separate video. I don't know if it's posted yet, but I'll let you know if it is or if it's coming out soon. That's kind of my plan for the rest of the day. Also, my dryer is running in the background. I'm kind of hoping you guys don't hear it, but if you do, that's what that is. And I do apologize for that. But I'm just gonna read for a little bit and drink my coffee and maybe take a bite or 2 of the donut, and then I'm gonna get going and go to Barnes & Noble. I will talk to you guys later. just gone to work today and read a little bit and edited a little bit, but I'm going out to dinner tonight, which I'm really excited for because it is once again a beautiful day. But I do have some updates regarding reading. So yesterday I ended up reading 121 pages, which is the most I've read so far, and it was my day off, so that really does make sense. It was the most time I had so far, and today I've read 62 pages so far, so I'm on page 540. That's on my Kindle. On my Kindle there are 900 something pages in this book, so I still have like 400 more pages, but I am officially 60% through the book, and I have to say I'm still kind of bored. There are honestly a few parts in it that I just don't really enjoy, and I think one of them is just mainly the emphasis on how tiny she is. I think it's getting to a point of just being cringe. Like there were parts where she's jumping up on a stool, and she's like, I jumped up on the stool 2 times and I couldn't get there because I'm so tiny, and I asked him if he could lower it. Or like she's trying to put her feet on the coffee table and she tried, but her feet just fell because her legs were too short. I just think it's kind of cringy, and I'm not really connecting with that character. I will say there's like a big shift happening in her family life in terms of her brother Joey, and I think that's kind of interesting. I am enjoying that dynamic a little bit. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now, but I'm gonna read a little bit until I go to dinner. It is Sunday night at 7:50 p.m., basically 8 p.m., and I finished the book. I spent all day in this world finishing this book, and I read 341 pages today. That is the most I've read this entire week, but I did say Sunday I literally had nothing to do today, and I have thoughts and I have things to share, and I have a lot, and I wrote it all down so I won't forget it, so don't worry. Before we get there, the final count for how many pages I read this week in this realistic week was 860 pages. And mind you, these are Kindle pages, so I don't know how that correlates to reading an actual book. I guess it's like 600 something because I did read like the entirety of Binding 13 this week. That I think is the most I read in one of these videos, and it was really fun. I had a lot of fun reading, but I have thoughts on the book, and we will go into that right now. So overall, I felt like, and I think I've portrayed this a lot throughout this video, but I feel like the beginning of the book was really slow. Like their relationship was very much a slow burn, and it was repetitive in the sense that a lot of their conversations and the environments and everything was very much the same, and they were kind of talking about very surface level things, and they didn't really crack that until much later on. And I think part of that is also because of some of the limitations that Shannon had, like familial wise, and then also personally with trusting people. So she had a lot of limitations placed on her, which really made the book repetitive because she couldn't go past those for a majority of the book. And that makes sense character wise, but book wise, I feel like it could have been much shorter. I feel like majority of the book happened in the last 30%. Like I totally get why my friend Sydney said 70% was when she got into it, because I think majority of the book happened in the last 30% of this book that is 600 pages long, which which is kind of crazy. Like, it definitely did pick up. It got way more interesting, fast-paced, things were changing, environments were changing, their relationship was progressing. Everything that was being built up at the beginning, like everything just kind of exploded at the end. That made it entertaining. There were also some really sweet moments, like the iPod with the playlist. That was really cute, and just some of the interactions they had were really, really sweet later on in the book. I also really did enjoy the side characters, and I think that the author did a great job at banter for people in high school. The banter was really fun, and it made the characters like very endearing, and you really liked them. I really liked Gibbsy, Claire, and Joey for side characters. I do think that was something that I noticed was she didn't really equally distribute the characters throughout the book, if that makes any sense. Like, you would get a few chapters where it was like very heavily this character. Like, I feel like Joey was a really big thing earlier on, and then you kind of like don't see him for 15 chapters. That's just like a very nitpicky, unnecessary thing, and I also think I just liked them. And the ending was crazy. It was very sad, like super sad and very hectic, but I have to say, I think she was going for a cliffhanger, but it literally just felt so abrupt. It felt like someone had ripped the last pages out of my book. Like, it didn't feel like it was supposed to end there. So like, I think she was going for a cliffhanger, but honestly it just felt incomplete. So I don't really like the ending. Part of me wants to read the second book just to find out what happens, but I don't think I want to read the rest of the series. I'm glad I didn't DNF it because I did want to see what the hype was about, and I'm happy I got to see the last 30% because that did feel like a 180 from the beginning of the book. But I just don't think I'm going to continue this series, at least not now. Maybe in the future I'll want to pick it up again, but I just don't think ultimately I connected with the characters enough to want to stay in this world any longer, especially with how long the books are. I feel like you truly have to love these characters to want to see all those little details in their lives, and I just didn't connect with them in that way, or the story in that way, but I still did have fun reading it in the points where I wasn't bored. For the rating, I'm really conflicted. I'm conflicted a little bit between a 2.5 and a 3, and I know that's crazy. Please don't come for me if you love this book. We can have different opinions, and I totally respect and understand why people love this book. I went into this knowing I'm not the biggest romance fan, and that was on me, honestly. So I think just from my perspective, a 2.5 or a 3. And that's not bad. I rate books in the sense that like 3 means it's okay, and 2 was like, it wasn't for me, but it could be for someone else. I think 2.5, but I don't know. You'll have to look at my Goodreads for my official one once I actually think and sit on this, because I literally finished it like 10 minutes ago. Overall, my main complaint is I feel like it could have been 400 pages shorter. So that is it. Those are my thoughts on Binding 13. I'm glad I finally read it and I understand it, and I understand the title too because they explained the title. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and following me along this week. If you've read this book, let me know any thoughts you have on it down below. I'm curious to see if anyone thinks the same thing as me, or if you guys have totally different opinions. I'd love to hear, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.